be, or give him something that he can kind of win his lane and then be more regular. Like even the third game, he didn't die much.
Remember what I told you?
Get ahead.
Yeah.
This team, I said that sometimes they prioritize on Aoi a lot and they sack Envy. Like sometimes it's not his fault. He's having a hard time. Like his supports are just not helping him.
Sure.
They are choosing to help the other lanes.
They prioritize Aoi.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you've already said on the desk makes sense considering how much impact he can have. But
I don't know if you do with a Drow Ranger, though. Only if you're scared of their tri-lane, I think, is the only way. And they kind of did dual lanes there. I don't know, but he just seems... It seems like he's getting tilted to me as well.
Either they help him or they give him a better matchup, or he picks himself a better matchup, like a lane matchup.
Well, the draft is underway and you got what you wanted. Immediately looks like the Warlock has been removed. Right, so no more Fatal Bonds.
So that lets Io in the pool, and Io and Ogre. Those were all of NP's other bans in the first round before.
There's Io. I think you're right, Kev. They almost need to give Envy a hero that he can play that's going to give him confidence almost. Like a sort of confidence boost hero that he can really go nuts with. There you go. So they've got SD Luna. That's very strong.
A very annoying mid to late game with the illusions.
Yeah.
Let's see what MEP go for to clear out the... Like, generally you want heroes that can deal with illusions. Like Timber, Tinker. Those are heroes that are very good at killing the illusions.
Okay. So
this is a classic. This is a very classic pick. They used to do this a lot before.
Yeah.
The dual lane on your
Bristle Io, right?
Bristle Io.
Yeah.
They pressure your lane a lot. Shadow Demon is not the greatest support anymore at level 1. Can't really zone one hero, let alone two. So they might need another hero that can help them stabilize the lanes. Otherwise, the Io plus Bristle might cause too much problems for them.
Was it MVP that ran Bristle Io? I think it was TI5. They would run him a lot in the offlane.
That was MVP.
It was really, really good.
So what is it that makes Bristle Io so intimidating, Kevin?
Bristle's already really hard to kill, is the big thing with his third skill. And you put an Io on top of that, he's getting heals and further reducing damage. And he stays alive, he attacks faster, he moves faster. Those are all things that he wants as a hero. Sometimes there's mana problems too. So it basically makes your dual lane very scary. And you definitely can pressure mistakes.
Like for this lane to work very well, you have to both understand the limits of the hero, because generally when you play the Io plus Bristol, you want to go in and make very aggressive plays at the brink of your death, like dying, and then you kill the enemy. And not to mention that Bristol needs a support to stack Ancients. When you do dual lanes like this, there's going to be a hero that can always constantly stack the Ancients. It helps you, you know.
He actually helps you clear them as well.
Yeah, he helps you clear them fast. You farm really fast from that.
Okay, so they're
get bigger.
Very damage MP right now.
This is also a classic hero to deal with, like Bristol. You take away his armor, makes him very, very sustainable to damage.
It's good against Io as well, because you can stun both, AoE stun.
Yeah.
And Soul Catcher on Shadow Demon plus the minus armor on Slaughter means that Bristol's actually going to look a little squishy this game, if they get their skills off in the right order.
Yeah, if they can get it going. But
yeah, but if Bristol is like farm enough, he can always get items to deal with that, like a Lotus, or like sometimes you see, like I guess the Grease would probably be on the Io, but there's always ways to deal with it. Like I think like if Bristol gets a hit, like he has options to deal with what Slada brings to the table.
Do you think I mean, the thing is, when it comes to him getting ahead, I mean, Bristol wants to be able to dive people, basically. Like, he wants to get a couple levels and dive you. But with Shadow Demon there, you can kind of disrupt him and kind of stop him being able to do that. You disrupt him, you fall back.
You can
Luna's nice and
disrupt,
fast.
like, for example, if you have like Invoker, then it's going to be difficult for the Bristol to do that. You can disrupt Soul Catcher into the Sunstrike.
Yeah.
That'll be really dangerous for the Bristol.
Is this a kind of a respect ban, taking the Sniper out of play? It was
it's a good, like, I think it's a really good hero right now. Like, I think teams have been starting to understand more how to play the hero. I think in the last 2 weeks or so, mostly when you see Sniper being picked, it's against OD to deal with how strong OD is in the laning phase. And in general, in team fights, it's very easy for Sniper to hit the OD.
QO having that taken away from him. And we're going to be seeing a Rubik crop up.
Silencer ban.
The Silencer ban is because it's amazing against Bristle, because he has to cast Quills every 3.5 seconds, so it elongates the Arcane Curse. That skill is actually really good against a hero like that.
That's true.
So that one makes sense. That's probably something they've experienced through scrims. Like, oh man, Silencer hard counters this dual lane.
Wow, Timbersaw.
Ooh.
Another good hero against Bristleback, because he's a strength hero and good against the Io as well. Io, surprisingly, a strength hero, so very sustainable, susceptible to the Timbersaw damage and the Whirling Death. Very easy for him to burst him down.
Yeah, I really like that pick a lot.
So what it sounds like to me is that you've seen a lot of these picks being influenced by that Bristleback pick. You've seen the draft completely kind of shift ever since we did see that picked up in the second.
The problem is, if you get a Bristleback that you can't kill.
Right.
It drives the tempo of the game so hard that you're just focusing on this one hero that you cannot kill, and he's just running at you. It's a nightmare. So you do want to shut him down as fast
Like a
as you
cockroach.
can. I'm right on
yeah,
Winter.
certain
Look at
heroes,
that. Nodding.
are like super tanky, but you can choose
Thanks,
to ignore him. But Bristleback, when he's super tanky, but he runs you down and he deals a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to ignore a target like this. That's why when you are playing against Bristol, you don't want him to get out of control.
The other thing is, because they've gone with the Wisp as well, particularly with the Bristle, if you shut down the Bristle, you're kind of inadvertently shutting down the Wisp as well. So you're shutting down like both heroes, that whole combo, which is at the moment half of their draft. So it makes sense.
Well, this part makes it easier for them, at least if Bristle gets in trouble, that he can rotate. He can join Sark in a lane, join Bristle in a lane. Keeping either alive would be really important.
This is very MVP draft. They have heroes that constantly run at you, they fight, they don't rely on cooldowns. They just need like some farm, and they're gonna be able to constantly like take fights all the time.
Bristle's still an amazing pick. He's a great Slark counter. It doesn't matter if he's invis. He still blows them up. So if
Timbersaw.
If Timber has a really good game, I feel like the game just ends for MVP.
Yeah, Timbersaw is really good against the Bristol plus the Slark. Both of the heroes are very weak against Timber. I mean, MVP just really, they have to do a lot in the laning phase with the Bristol IO. Otherwise, I think mid game Luna, Slark and Timber are just gonna be much stronger calls against what they have.
So it kind of really comes down to the last support pick for MP then, because that'll change their tri lane really. Like Luna's already very good. They got SD, but it's a little offensive lacking. I feel if they want to kill either an IO or Bristol.
They might just go for like something to follow up the disrupt. I think then as long as you have enough like disable to kill, something that they like a lot is like the Elder Titan. It's pretty good here against their heroes.
I actually like that a lot. It damage amps all the physical they already have, and any of the magic from like.
It's pretty good against Slark. I think overall that hero is a hero that they play a lot and a hero that fits their lineup right now. And it's really good against what MVP have.
Batrider banned 5th round, by the way.
Yeah.
But 5th round is amazing.
Yeah, that is.
Concerned.
I mean, some teams just don't really like to play the hero, even though it's a good hero.
Yeah, but it goes all the way to the end of the draft and then finally continues to be 100% pick and ban. Batrider just continuing to keep that number a juicy 100.
It's definitely not a typical Phoenix pick, but I think what they would have done is do Batrider versus Timber, is why they banned it.
Yeah, they're probably worried about that because Timber is very, very weak against Batrider in the lane. You can't really do much against that.
It could be like Timber mid or something. Never know.
But if you have Q on your team, you do not. I wouldn't want to put Q on a hero like this.
You don't think Q is a bad hero, a bad player?
No, I don't think he's a bad player, but I want bad player. I don't want to waste him on a hero like this. I want him to be on a hero that it's like a Shadow Fiend, I want him.
How about an Ursa?
Ursa will be fine.
Okay.
I want him to be on a hero that can carry the game.
Well, there it is.
It's definitely Ursa. It's great against killing Luna. Great against
Timber. Timber is really weak against Ursa on the laning phase.
So they found it. After all of the banning and the desperately trying to keep Timber safe, they still find something to get under his skin.
So does this make us think that they forgot about Ursa, or that they are more likely to put Timber in a safe lane? Because I feel like Timber versus Ursa mid is very Ursa
They can't really change their lanes anymore. There's Luna. Luna's going to take the safe lane. There's Slarla. Slarla's off lane. Unless they're going to put Slarla as a support and put Timber off lane.
They certainly could.
Yeah, actually they could.
Lots of teams do that, actually.
The lanes is not very strong. Like Slug and Rubik is not really that strong at zoning off lane Timber. And Slarla with the Slarla roaming around, I could see that working for them. And you pick another matchup against a better matchup against the Ursa and mid.
Invoker is still there in the pool.
Yeah, I actually hope.
And you've got the setup.
I just hope that MV plays something else. Anything.
Quap versus Ursa. How do you die? He doesn't have a stun, dude. You just can't die.
Yeah, but you can't kill heroes as well. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
We got it.
Oh.
You an Envy fanboy
He's
now?
so
Is that what's
happy.
happening?
No more Queen of Pain.
I think Winter's just like, don't make him play this hero anymore.
He'll
It could
get
be anybody. It could be anybody. Don't make them play Quap, is Winter's thinking.
So suddenly, are you suddenly a happy boy now? Are you suddenly going to maybe shift your your
Invoker's
faith
really
into
good
MP?
here. They have support Slarla, which means that they have two ways of setting up the Sunstrike, the Slarla plus the Disrupt from SD. So I think it's a really good pick here.
He just has to not feed mid.
Just don't feed me.
That's it.
Win mid.
He's against Ursa, he'll be fine.
This is going to be good. All right, well, you guys have helped us set the scene. This draft does mean we're going to have a very intense third map, and the voices behind it are going to be Fogged and Toby. You guys are going to enjoy this one. Our first third map on the main broadcast.
Of course, we're going to enjoy this. We're enjoying the draft. Fogg knew exactly what was happening all the way through, right? Support Slaughter.
Kind of had a feeling.
See it coming from a mile away.
It looked like a VP draft. It looked pretty much exactly what they do. So I was just like, okay, this looks like it's going to be the Slaughter, and it looked like MVP kind of understood that it was going to be a Timber offlane too, because they picked the Ursa to go up versus the Timber in the short lane, so they can actually deal with it with Rubik and Ursa. They don't have to bring and commit 3 heroes to actually deal with it. And then they can put the Slark mid. It's just a kind of staple for them, you know. They like to have QO like putting the Slark mid, even though no one else really does it.
Yeah, it seems kind of odd. Like you have that 3 melee kind of style coming out from MVP. It's like, is it going to work? Like the only other thing which we tossed up early on was like maybe we look at MVP slipping into Roshan nice and early on. Maybe they can grab it even though it's not as useful.
Yeah.
Getting level 2.5 if you can get it just on the Ursa and the Bristleback. So I just like abandons the pit and get them level 2. That laning phase for MVP is going to be so much stronger. I think I have a lot better time. But I still want to see what's going to happen with the Invoker. You were mentioning it with Eternal Envy as we were talking during the drafting phase, that he really dislikes going for the Quas Wex, which is really good against a Bristleback and even an Ursa not having that mana pool.
Yeah, I don't know if he really like dislikes it. I just really haven't seen him do it. I think it fits really well with their draft. Like I think the Exort fits really well with their draft. Obviously, like Winter and them mentioned, they have multiple different setups for it, and it scales much better. You know, it's able to push lanes out in a better factor too. It's able to pressure lanes, and it gives them more type of push, more objective takers on top of like the Luna, the Shadow Demon, everything like that. I actually really like this NP draft. It reminds me, like I said, it reminds me a lot of VP, and I think it's just they're on a lot of comfort heroes. MSS Timbersaw, Luna, AUI Luna, Envy Invoker. I'm liking it. I think MVP does have a window, obviously, to win this game. Duh. But like, I think it's really heavily emphasized on this Bristleback IO lane. Depending on how they do is going to dictate pretty much everything in every single way that they take fights into like the mid game and after lane stage.
And we'll see how NP actually even pushes their lanes out. Like right now, they're sending all 5 heroes up to that top lane. So they may have some other more unusual things in mind. Normally when you run that support Slardar, you don't heavily commit to an offlane.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like you have Shadow Demon, you go for level 1 smoke, you try to make a play, at least get some wards down, disrupt the, block the pull, probably disrupt stuff. But Ursa might actually get caught here. He breaks the smoke. They do have an early lane ward already down, too.
They put down their own obs.
But they see him,
yep,
and they got
there's
him.
your disruption. Savage is moving into position for the perfect crush. The Sunstride's coming in as well, and Velo, he will drop, and that is the Ursa down. 30 seconds before the runes even spawn, and the Ursa is already pushing up the daisies.
I love this too. MSS saved the skill point. He didn't go for the he didn't go for the Whirling Death to try to get the damage out. He didn't grab the reactive armor. He's waiting to decide which one he needs in the laning phase, because they knew that's pretty much going to get a kill. And yeah, they do block the pull. Great,
they
great
blocked
level 1
both
smoke.
camps by the looks of it. Because Dire also blocked up the camp with their earlier Observer ward.
Okay. Who ends up getting the last hit too? Oh, and Envy even gets the last hit too. So that's actually pretty huge.
Does he actually have anything on the... So
Pick up the Blightstone.
He's bringing a Blightstone early on, so there's more potential for him in the mid lane. It is going to be a tough mid lane. Like, you're looking at a Slark as well as an IO together, even if the tether just kind of failed from Febby.
He's going to move, right? Yeah, he's not going to stay there. I think he'll
They're
move.
actually smoking already.
Oh, maybe they go for a level 1 kill.
Dubu and Febby, they're looking for Eternal Envy. Maybe they're also thinking about the early Courier, knowing that Eternal Envy got
Oh, no, they want
first
Envy.
blood. Yeah, they want it. Kuro doesn't have Pounce leveled up just yet, but now with a pickup, the throw back, they can go for the Pounce Eternal
He's
Envy.
dead.
We said it's been a hard time for an Invoker. He doesn't have Quas. There's no survivability, and QO will get the kill on Eternal Envy. The hard times just keep coming.
That's one way to fix when, you know, the enemy mid laner gets first blood on your mid laner. It's just like, all right, let's just smoke level 1, kill him. And it works for them, and now the Wisp is going to make his move toward that Ancients. Is he going to make it to stack it? I don't think he will. He's going to be very close, but he'll go down and chill with the Bristle. He's actually going to get it.
Yeah, it's
There you
out
go.
in time.
Nice. Perfect timing.
So
Now he's
this
gonna make his
is
way down.
MVP being more, and they're going again. They're going on Envy. The leash will go to work. Dubu's still got his control with a pickup, but it's not even
Oh,
required.
no.
He can save the mana, and a second death now for Envy. They're switching lanes. Savage is, well, not completely switching, but they're bringing Savage into the mid lane.
That's super painful though. Like this is such an MVP thing to do versus like an Invoker or some hero that like struggles a bit in the early laning phase. They pick a hero that can kind of just like get on his face, like a PA, a Slark. They even used to do obviously the PL versus the Invoker, but that obviously completely fell out of favor. And I mean, those 2 rotations were perfect right there. Like Envy TP's back in it, dies right away, misses 2 full creep waves of experience. Luckily SVG has a TP and he's able to get that, but that's super painful for your Invoker after he gets first blood.
Yeah. And he spent the money on the Blightstone, so he's behind in his items, where Febby, he's now going for the 3rd stack of the Ancients, already has the bottle up and running. So he just does this, grabs the 2-minute rune, pops back down to Forever if he can do it. In fact, he's going to tether up with QO as they're making a run as an Invis rune. So the greatest thing that Savage could have hoped for.
Yeah, denying the rune from bounties or denying the runes from Wisp is super important. making sure you at least try to emphasize checking at least one of them, if not both. But yeah, they get one. The bounty's picked up by Dubu, and now they make the rotation down to the Bristles lane.
Forev might really regret moving this aggressively over. Potentially they can go into Disruption plus the Crush. Savage body blocking Febby a little bit, so he actually stuns over on the Io. Io will tether himself away the creep wave. Forev still tanky enough to get out. And in fact, Savage is a little bit more concerned about the mana on the Bristleback. There's not enough to go for more Quill Sprays.
Yeah,
so Savage is out.
Febby's still level 1, but he's going to be able to tether up Forev and at least give him some mana and something a little bit of health too. He's got no regen up on that Bristleback.
Life's even harder. Like, Dubu's just being more of a pain in the ass. Fabled it down. Envy, just because life isn't great for you, takes more of that damage away from him and his Forged Spirits.
This is the cool thing too about when you pick an Ursa versus a Timbersaw. Obviously, he's an agility hero, so he doesn't get like crippled at all by Whirling Death, and you're able to leave him alone in that matchup. Rubik obviously emphasized on that super heavily, just ganking Envy twice in the mid lane. Now he might be able to move just to get some levels up, so he's not struggling in that factor. But yeah, Ursa does just perfectly fine in that matchup. The only trade-off is that, you know, obviously the Timber gets some farm and some levels.
That was just Febby going straight back to base. He was out of bottle charges. he went from 100% to 0 straight away. With the amount of Ancients which are already stacked up, and he could just tether back down again and give Forev all the regeneration that he wants.
Yep, TP's down with Overcharge in range of the tower.
And what a time for it too. Like, it's when MP want to initiate. Like, Rose is on the way out, so they can go for the Disruption, but the only choice they have is Forev, and they know that that's not a kill. And now Eternal Envy may be dead again. He walks down into the river, and the second his feet get wet, he potentially dies, and there's the leash. Got to hold him there. The Sunstrike's over on Dubu, so he gets some damage back, but that's now the third death. All three, 100% of the deaths of MP are all on EE.
Yeah, and Febby's having great positioning in this bottom lane.
They're going
always sitting
bottom
on the side. Forev does get caught by the Soul Catcher here. They do have a decent amount of damage, but he's got his back turn. He's got the Wisp Overcharge. He's getting a couple Quill Stacks coming up now too, and they're deterred from going for that. Like, the stick charges, the Quill Stacks just adding up way too much. You can't really go for that with 3 stacks on your Luna already.
And this is the reason why they didn't do it before. Like, you saw Forev, you're like, this is a no-go. Like, this is an insanely low percentage chance that you'll actually find that kill. And you probably only went on Forev because he was so far down and you weren't exactly certain where Febby was.
I almost want to see one of the guys from NP.
They're going again.
They're going with the Sunstrike.
There's only stick charges available, so if he wants to tether down, Febby could do it. And he started the tether, but it was too late. So Bristleback will die. Meanwhile, Timbersaw dies on the top lane. Ursa Warrior just going hand with Phase Boots. He just ran him down.
Yeah, the 2 points in the Soul Catcher with the Sunstrike on top, the amplified pure damage definitely coming into favor there on top of the Bristleback. We see, as always, lots of suicides in the early game, which everybody loves so much, obviously. But yeah, I do want to see one of the heroes soon from NP when they get the time to rotate to put a hill ward or a ward on the rune at least to watch the movements.
They're going again. More TP supports in the way. Dubu's leaving. The support's coming in from Savage, but he's too far away. Can turn on the sprint, but he cannot fight an Ursa. And he knows it.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's like, when Forev dies in those situations, of course it's not great because he's giving a lot of experience to the supports, which they aren't really getting because they're not able to pull. But he has the catch-up mechanic. Like, he's got a triple Ancient stacked already, and they're going to go to do that probably when he's like level 5, maybe level 6 or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
At least get maximum stacks possible up on there.
Well, Febby's there to stack it again.
And nice. SVG did exactly what I was kind of mentioning. He puts that ward in the mid lane to watch the Rubik's movement, watch the rotations up to that mid lane. Forev just chain pulling now.
Is Kuro getting an action rune? Yeah, he does. He found a double damage rune. So if they want to bring the Slark into the fight, all he needs is a TP scroll at the moment. He's kind of stuck in the mid lane.
They've moved both supports bottom now. Dubu gets hit by a Lucent Beam and actually drops super low, but still there just to back it up. They know Forev can actually die now to that max combo, but they're going to farm up this nice triple stack that they have there. Pull to the creep wave.
Well, Forev can do the rest. Febby as well as Forev both with stick charges available.
Doesn't seem like they want to farm it just yet.
Oh, Rose is coming over. Telekinesis, they're going to pick him up. Throw him back through the tree line, so no vision to hide inside of. Febby hits him with all the balls with the Fade Bolt. They turn the Eclipse on, and the damage. They get the kill onto the Bristleback, so a nice little turnaround there. At the same time as happened again, the double damage rune from QO gets the kill onto Eternal Envy, and EE was back at his tier 2 tower. There's nowhere safe in this world for Eternal Envy.
Yeah.
So NP now try and take out this stack with MSS. They still haven't got the 3 big ones. And MVP are moving over to contest. QO still with that double damage rune. And he's going to find a perfect leash. They go for both the targets. Luna and Timber get destroyed. The rotations from MVP are right on the spot.
Yeah, that was great movement there by QO. Obviously killing Envy and then moving down bottom, getting a double kill on both cores. So he just killed all 3 cores actually on that Slark.
Yep. In the space of a minute. And I don't know if he actually got the last hits on the camp as well, but this... Like, QO is now sitting at 4.1k net worth, and the nearest to him is the Luna at 2.5k on MP. Obviously, he's still got his own Ursa Warrior at 3.3.
Yep. And like we were saying, like of course, like having a Bristleback die is not what you want, but it's not a bad scenario, honestly. Like he's got his recovery stacks always there, and they're gonna keep emphasizing on doing that.
I don't even see he's behind at all right now. Forev's having the time of his
Yeah,
life.
he's actually like pretty much tied with the net worth.
That stack is quite huge. Now it's a 5 stack, but Velo's moving down. He's got his Morbid Mask.
He's going for the Roche too.
Yeah, he's actually going to attempt Rosham. This is before they take either of the tier 1 towers, so a little bit riskier.
Yeah, definitely a bit riskier. They did see the Luna TP top though, and they know Eclipse is on cooldown. It's only MSS who can really walk into there and actually cause any ruckus, and they see him in the bottom lane, so this is pretty much a free Roche for them.
Mm-hmm.
And by pretty much, I mean a free Roche.
Yep. Yeah, there is nothing MP is going to do about this. Potentially a rando Sunstrike from Eternal Envy could be dropped.
They know this is going on.
He's sending a Forge Spirit, but it's already too late. Roshan's dead.
Yep. QO picks up the Aegis. Looking very good for him. His CS, of course, isn't massive. You know, he's only got 43, but he's getting the kills. He's got 4 kills already on this Slark. Not something you'd really expect from a mid Slark from other teams, but, you know, this is MVP we're talking about. They even put so much pressure on this bottom lane that they take the tower already.
We're going to remember it's the Bristleback that already hit level 6. Like, it's the old-fashioned combination. Remember when Jakiro was a tower pusher and they ran a 1 position on him? Yeah, keep your eyes on Forev in a second, even though Kuro's having fun with MSS. Forev is about to move. He's at 3.5k when he starts this.
That is a humongous Ancient stack. That's like, what, 5? 1,
this
2,
is
3?
a lot.
That's 5, I think.
This is a hell of a lot. Duba's going to leech some of the experience as well, but all this money is going the way of Forev. So 3.5. He's now at 4.2. And just watch the net worth continue to rise.
Yeah, it was a 5 stack. They actually... Wow. Yeah, so he's going to have... If he wants, what, like a full hood? And, yeah. Okay, 4.7 now, and he's got 1 more left, and it's going to be respawning pretty soon.
He's now just behind the Slark at 4.9. 4.9k net worth.
It was a nice little mirror movement there by AUI when he got pressured in that bottom lane and died. He moved instantly to the top lane, at least claimed the tower off of that. And they do get a ward down in the enemy jungle, so they're able to see rotations and able to pressure that top lane off of that in a little bit of an easier fashion. But
keeping those wards is also quite difficult, though. You do have a Slark on the map.
Yep.
So any of this vision which you do get, QO's already, he's already pinging out.
It out.
Yeah, he found the perfect position. Ran to the top of it, ran to the side of it, and Duba can just throw down the sentry ward and let QO take it.
Yeah, he's going to have his Shadow Blade finished up quite soon, which is going to be really incredible once he's able to go for that Silver Edge versus the Timbersaw versus the Luna, obviously able to disable the passives.
I'm just wondering how MP now deal with the global. Because Bristleback is so fantastic at pushing down buildings, but the relocate's up for Io, so he's also involved in the fights, just like this one. So Envy, they start the fight, the Sunstrike, QO's already moving away, managed to drop down far enough to not get hit by that Timber Chain, but Aoi just lets the ulti go. It burns the Aegis of the Immortal, and maybe they find another one. Io will drop, but Forev runs straight to the front lines. He's so low on life, he'll actually fall. MP getting something back, but Velo with the Mask of Madness, he can't finish MSS. QO! No, not your home. Get out. You are not allowed into this base. This is only 11 minutes in. He's already considering diving under tier 3 to tier 4 towers.
Yeah, definitely a very aggressive relocate there. They do lose the Bristleback, who's, you know, super farmed on net worth, but he did go for a mech. So I guess they thought maybe with the mech, with the double Q, they'd be able to go for that type of dive potential. They lose 2 heroes, they lose the Aegis, but they claim 2 core heroes, and they force the Eclipse out. So they're just, you know, massive amounts of pressure. They even get some wards down during all this ruckus. And none of them are actually found on the side of NP. So great wards coming out for MVP, just to be able to keep eyes on the side of NP. And yeah, like you mentioned, there's a Slark on the side of MVP. They have much easier access to be able to deward, and they just take out 2 right away.
So without that kind of vision, they can't see the rotations of QO, who just got his Shadow Blade. So he's running up the river to come in behind NP.
Oh, this could be
Vela's
bad.
going to have the movement speed. Savage already triggers up the sprint, but they see him. The sentry wall's down, but the disruption! Oh, the miscommunication timing! The crush was coming out from Savage. He really wanted to get that hit, but Rose went for the disruption instead. So now the Sentry will get dewarded, and the Slark, while the Shadow Blade does get revealed, is hunting a courier. It's flying right over the top of him. So Forev as well as QO team up together. QO's running in. They get the crush off this time around. Sentry ward down. Keep the amplification up, and QO too deep, but then Dark Pact. It's a wonderful ability which allows freedom for all. Febi's even going to relocate him further away so the Sun strikes off target. And MVP, the rest of the team was on objective-based gaming, taking out that tier 1 tower. And now you even steal amplification into Dubu.
That's actually a big steal. Amplify is massive here to be able to deal through the Timbersaw in short fashion. But yeah, keeping up super aggressive. They even put down now some more aggressive wards. It is actually in range of the NP Sentry, though, so that one will probably get dewarded once they make time to move over there. But yeah, they're keeping the pressure on extremely heavily. And even with the dominated creep, which AUI was using to pressure with, it gets taken out.
Man, even if the hero damage is only like 1,000 off, like you look at the difference in net worth, Kiro is so far ahead of Eternal Envy. You kind of expect that when Envy is also 1 for 5 with 2 assists. This is not the Invoker game that he was really hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, he got the first blood, but then, you know, dying, those beautiful rotations for Dubu are definitely crippling him.
His Midas isn't too far behind. Like, he's still got the hand of Midas. It's 13 minutes, so he's like 4 or 5 minutes behind where he'd like to be.
It's pretty behind. It's pretty behind.
It's pretty behind, but if they can get the coordination of, like, we had this issue as well with MP with their SD in their previous game. Like, the coordination timing is just a little off. That was at the end of game 2 when they were getting ripped apart by Virtus Pro. So they were kind of a little, I don't know, tilted or just not focusing anymore if they knew it was over. But same kind of thing. Like, you need to get that initiation off. You caught a break. You got a Slark with the first reveal of Shadow Blade underneath your Sentry.
Bottom lane, here comes the pressure. They see MSS. He's obviously trying to do the D push, and Velo's in position to try to go for that dive there when they go to the tower.
He found AUI, but he goes straight past him, straight down towards Rose. Disruption will be there. The Dark Pact damage. The Leech is still holding him there, and then, as you said, relocate, soaking up so much of the damage with the Eclipse. Febi will drop, but it's all for the greater core. There's also MSS on the run, but Velo enraged up as the Ursa. That's 3 heroes down for MP. Velo almost has his full diffusal blade as well. Like, we're 14 minutes into the game.
This is, you know, I'm happy to see this, though. Not like to take away from NP or anything, but I'm happy to see the MVP starting to find their form. They're playing their heroes. They're playing their type of style that they like to do, and it's working. They're making sure that pressure just constantly is in NP's face and not letting them be able to get that farm, able to do that, you know, the Shadow Demon Luna, which we do see so often. But they're just not letting them get their game online.
They need something in MP, like something to stem the bleeding. Like, there's no crowd control coming from the Invoker because she got this Quas Exort build as opposed to the Wex build. The SD is trying to be aggressive. The Slaughter is nowhere near having an influence. Like, his influence is almost countered by the fact that Dubu's doing more work than this Slaughter. Slaughter can't survive when he runs in. He's just amplification and just hope that doesn't get stolen.
Yeah. Dubu's had great positioning, great rotation in this game. Pretty much all over the...
And then you just watch Forev. Huge amount of physical damage when he gets those Warpath stacks up. And thanks to Febi, he's always got the man to do it. And the defense that you try, like, you don't want to start triggering off the Magic 1 charge. It's already hard enough to deal with the regeneration of MVP, but it's their only D-push they've got. So Forev, we're under 16 minutes and already the Tier 3 tower's under siege. And it looks like no one wants to come back.
They don't have Eclipse. Like, it's actually super hard for them to fight here at this point versus the Mac, versus the Wisp, versus the Warpath stacks, as
so you just
mentioned.
let it go?
I mean, they didn't want to lose the racks, but at least drop down the tower at least just a bit, because they don't have the Blink on Slaughter. They don't even have any real form of initiation. And the ulti's still on cooldown. And now Dubu actually steals Chakram too, which is probably one of the better spells he could steal here as well. QO tries to go in, tries to latch to SVG, but doesn't want to use his pounce aggressively. He wants to use it in a defensive manner.
Remember, AUI is still on top lane. He's finishing the Tier 2 tower off at the moment, so he hasn't come back.
Got to make space for him.
Yep.
Now he's going to come back. Eclipse is up in 10 seconds. This could be their go time.
It's a half-decent trade. At least you're getting something off this map when MVP could be taking everything from you.
Yeah, this could be MVP either backing up here just because they forced all reaction, or looking for when, you know, 1 or 2 heroes kind of steps out of position, just instantly kill them and then take the fight at an advantage.
He's getting attacked, but he's going in. He doesn't care. He doesn't have an Aegis. He's just trying to do the work with the crush that's out. Still hidden up by that Shadow Dance, but Eternal Envy also has to go Invis. A defensive disruption.
Steals
the Eclipse is
Eclipse.
out from AUI, and now the Eclipse will be used. Do they have enough damage? The magical dose through the Timbersaw. The crush from Savage a little bit too late, but MVP underneath tier 4 towers lose their Ursa Warrior. And Forev has to start retreating back out again. But nope. We're going in again. QO wants the kill over on Rose. No mana for a disruption. Envy, deafening blast. Can't create enough space, but the double crush from Savage maybe is going to do enough work. Io can't relocate out. So now his 2 cores down. Starts to relocate, but he'll take a fall. Forev wants to do this solo. Chasing after Envy, but the Lucent Beam is enough to slow him down. Still again, under tier 4 towers. MVP, 2D pull out. They've just thrown so much money and experience the way of MP.
4,000 gold change. That was definitely over aggressive there. I thought because they forced the reactions, they would back out and maybe try to wait till somebody moves forward. But they just really wanted to go. They just wanted to go ham. QO was just like, I am diving the fountain pretty much at the 17-minute mark. They do have that ward on the high ground there, so they're able to see some of the movement, but definitely a bit overzealous there. I think they could have done a couple different things there. They saw everybody move back. They weren't getting pressure on any of their other lanes. They could have just backed down and been like, okay, we got enough here. We got the tier 3 at this point. We can reset and wait a couple more minutes. Wait for the next Roshan, which is up now. And now they do have obviously the SVG picking up that Blink Dagger there was crucial for them to be able to fight, and they even get a gem now too to be able to clear those aggressive wards that were coming out from MVP.
I think MVP opened up a door for MP to walk through to get back into this game. You see that graph in the net worth, it starts to rocket up, but the experience graph probably tells the bigger story, bringing this game so much closer than what it really was, which was MVP's game.
Yep.
They didn't even take the racks. They lost a tier 2 tower for a tier 3, and then they lost the team fight. And the only real cost was SD buyback.
Which is nothing. I mean, honestly, the SD buying back doesn't really do anything. He doesn't get items in this lineup. He just usually just goes for the disruption leveling up for the Luna later on.
They're going on top lane.
QO.
Blink Crush off target. QO gets inside that Shadow Blade and gets away. They didn't bring Dust on the Slider. And while that's going on, MVP will finish up Roshan. So Aegis the Immortal gets put into the hands of the Ursa this time around.
QO wants Envy. Gets a couple hits on him, but yeah, he doesn't want to use his pounce aggressively, still making sure that he doesn't put himself into too bad of a scenario. Now at least, even though he went pretty divey before. But I love when you see this, these very experienced Slark players, they always tend to use their pounce defensively unless they feel super confident.
They need to go for the leash. Not unless he knows that Febby can also come in to help out for Rev.
Yep.
That also seemed like a bit like with MVP's push into the base, like low on mana, low on health. The fact that Febby didn't have the relocate instantly available either, for Rev might have been banking on that when he was going in pretty deep.
Mm-hmm.
Same for QO. Not to be the case.
Still trying to keep the pressure on though. Even though Eclipse and everything is up, they've got the Aegis, they've got SNY on Bristleback. He's pretty darn tanky.
Have a check of what AUI is now, like brought to his cause. Like a lot of this was probably also to help him out with the stacks, but he's got a Sada Banisher.
Yep.
So he would love to have that purge off during the fight too. But NP, they're going to smoke maneuver now. Obviously, they're not going for Roshan. They're probably assuming there's some kind of stack for MVP that they want to be able to steal, but no stack. It's just a camp of dumb golems. That's all.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what forced them to actually make that move and what made them think that they were doing the Ancients. They do have they do place a new ward. They had a defensive ward in their jungle, but I guess they didn't really see any information on the map. No one was showing, so they just kind of expected them to MVP to go be full farming, full efficiency.
It's the guess, right? Like you're up against a Slark. You're not going to have many wards up, so you've just got to have the best guess you can. The next objective they can take if they couldn't find anything is what they're doing now, which is the tier 1 tower. Fortification makes us a little bit slower for MP, and they're not going to get much more, but the Observer Ward...
They're coming in. MVP wants to fight this.
QO's on the run. The nice Chakram actually really slowing up the Ursa Warrior. Not to mention the Forged Spirits already dropping him down to -6 on the armor. So he's got to be careful when he wants to fight MSS. Timber chains away. QO pounces down the Blink Crush. Creates space, hitting both Forever as well as QO. The Chakram still doing heavy work. A lot of that will be repaired up by the mech. They tether in, but now MVP... taking a lot of damage, just try and chase this. And MP, they can smell the blood in the water. The question is, Kazlik can actually get the kill. Savage, looking for that crush, actually pulled out of it. The Lucent Beam was his setup. But MVP bail. Maybe QO hovers around, wondering if MP now want to overcommit.
This gem purchase is actually owning so hard for MP right now. Like they're always able to see when QO tries to reset and go in. and able to obviously throw the Lucent Beam on him right away and just kind of deter him in a way. You know, if he gets hit by Soul Catcher, hit by like 1 or 2 nukes, it puts him pretty much at like 25% HP, like crucial HP, and he just can't really go in with that factor. And Velo, like you mentioned, he was getting punished in the backlines by the Forge Spirits, but something else I really want to mention too is he completely neglected getting Earthshock at all. He has 0 points in it.
Just all out direct one target hit.
No Blink Dagger either yet. He went for the Diffusal Blade. Now he's got the Blink Dagger coming out, but definitely a bit of a different build than what we usually do see.
Like, wouldn't you just expect like some points in that? Like, especially up against a hero like a Luna?
The 1 value point, probably, at least.
But not to happen. Bottom lane, QO jumps in, finds Eternal Envy. The Sharkrams will fly out. Remember, he's still got that Shadow Dance to get away. They trigger off the dust, but is there enough vision as QO, there's the Shadow Dance going to work, and they relocate in. They go right on top of Eternal Envy. The Blink Crush is enough from Savage to create a little bit of space, and maybe MVP will back out. Now they've got the buyback out from EE. Really not what he wanted to do, but they initiate back in. Ursa, amplified up. He does not have his Enrage available, but what he has is Forever and QO. Again, the jump forward. They look to go on AUY. Don't find the target.
Nice
Another
two-man
Blink Crush. Febi's still there, but the Eclipse doing the work with the Sharkrams. They burn through the Aegis. There is no Slark for the moment. They're waiting for the Ursa to come back up again. The Ice Wall slows him down. Ursa can get kited now, but AUY is so low. So many Cool Spray stacks. He gets back, but the Owner's sticking him out 3 HP. He dies on the stairs of the fountain. And they may lose more. Eternal Envy. He can't die back. He will die back. 60 seconds on the sideline. They need something here. MP, the relocate is not up for Febi. And now as MVP again, they don't take the racks. They're being repelled. MP need to get closer. The Sharkram will saw him down. There's your crush. MVP will lose 4.
2 buybacks from the side of NP, but they didn't lose the racks. The melee racks was at 300 HP, and it looked like MVP was very keen on just trying to go for kills rather than just trying to hit the buildings again. Definitely being a bit overzealous. Dubu did have a beautiful Eclipse steal there again, which dished out a good chunk of damage, about 2,000 damage. And we're going to look at the replay and see what ended up happening.
So again, MVP moving straight past the racks, looking for that opening, and QO, like, he really wanted to shut down Luna, but Savage,
such a good stun.
He has been on the money for MP. He's made so much space for the MP cores to work.
If that creep wave actually hadn't spawned right there, Dubu's Eclipse would have probably wiped out 1 or 2 more heroes. So it's a bit unfortunate for him there that creep spawned there, but definitely still, look, you can tell that they're very kill hungry. Like, they saw Envy's buyback. This is probably fine to go for because obviously you take him out after a buyback, but the Rax is still alive. You're not gaining your objectives, which you want to be getting with your lineup at this point.
Because the longer this game goes on, the more powerful the Luna is going to become. And
more powerful the Timber, too. Like, 16 Bloodstone charges on him now. He's becoming a very striving force. He's got a Ghost Scepter even finished up now too, so he's not going to be able to get bursted down too easily by the Ursa, even though he has Diffusal to purge it off.
I'm also seeing more issues appearing for this Ursa Warrior. Like that Ice Wall that also got planted down by Envy. It's a little bit easier when you know exactly where he's going to spawn up.
AUI gets leashed up. He's putting some pressure on with QO, but QO now...
He's dead.
Did he get bashed? I know he got crushed, but maybe he just died in the crush. Well, that's painful. That's also another benefit of the gem. They saw him right away when he tries to go for the pounce, and he gets bursted down. Now this is AUI's time to just completely come back in the game. Almost going to be #1 net worth. It's the first time he pulls ahead of the Slark and the Luna.
And for the first time in 20 minutes, MP actually have the experience advantage. It's not much, but it's something. They're still behind in gold, but you can also kind of expect that when MVP still even got a tier 1 tower up on the bot lane, and they've taken multiple Roshans.
Yeah, now it becomes a bit harder too because now Rose, even though he did go for the Shadow Poison maxing build, which we don't really see too often anymore. Usually we see like just the Disruption and Soul Catcher, especially from VP, from solo. But now he's starting to get more of the points in the Disruption, which obviously becomes super powerful with the Luna, getting massive amounts of illusions, able to split push easily. You get more farm on your Shadow Demon with that too. And you just obviously the reduced cooldown on Disruption just makes it easier to deter.
The more powerful this combo gets, the bigger they get, the more issues it is for MVP. Forever Lee's going to have his BKB for the next fight. Still a little bit worried about his mana pool if Io can't bring enough back into it, just because of the cost of the mech and then still spamming out his Quill Spray. That's the only other small issue I have for him.
Yeah, they at least have a set of Arcane Boots for him on top with the Wisp Tether, but... Yeah, this is NP completely coming back in this. Like, now it's 17 Bloodstone charges on Timbersaw. Everything's looking much better. Like, Aghanim is finished on Invoker. Definitely not where he wants to be, but he's still, he's completely recovered.
It's better than what he originally was. He's still a 2 for 7 Invoker. that was at one point 1 for 3, only because he got the first blood.
Yeah, and Kua actually never went. I thought he was going to go for the Silver Edge at one point, but now he feels like he just needs the BKB after a couple of those those deaths, just because he gets hit by the Crush and he gets bursted down so heavily by the Chakraman with the Lucent Beam if he's not under Shadow Dance. With the Eclipse, obviously, with the Lucent Beams.
Well, this is a nice quick respawn time on Roshan, so MVP will be very happy about this. This will be our third Roshan too, so we'll add cheese to the mix.
That definitely will be helpful. Okay, I was wondering where. I clicked on Febby and I was like,
Where's his
Febby had
money?
a lot of gold. What was going on? So he picks up a full Eul Scepter.
Oh, Kuro, wait. Just wait. There you go.
Bam. Sees the Roche spawn.
That's actually the dream for MVP. And there's no way that MP is really going to know about this. They actually have to wait. So if they are thinking about like grouping up at this tier 2 tower at the moment and then smoking in.
It was like one of the earliest possible spawns. Like that's very unfortunate for them. There's no way they're going to be able to contest it.
Yeah, he's already dead.
It still would be a bit hard, you know. That's not really a great angle of approach for NP's lineup. Like if they walk in there, Slark has so many different ways of being able to get into the back line, even though they have the gem on the Slardar.
Interesting they give it over to the Ursa.
Yeah, who's got the cheese?
Slark.
Slark, yeah.
Potentially you could have given it to Febby, but it's probably safer to have it on the Slark.
Yeah, I mean, you have to drop so low to be able to get like maximum efficiency with the cheese if you're tethered up. But yeah, it's probably just, you know, safer to put on your cores.
This is going to become a little bit easier for MSS. Like, the bottom lane's pushing in, but he's about to finish up BTs if he wants them. But he'll TP back, add momentum as much as you possibly can. Fortification is up for MP. And this ice wall is a real problem. MVP just can't freely move and dive like they were previously. And it's actually a Blink Dagger purchase up for MSS. So he wants to fight. This isn't a split push game for him now.
No, and it just gets so much harder, you know, versus all these disrupted illusions. He's just going to do it again, throw the Luna under, throw some illusions out, clear the creep wave. Don't let MVP get to your high ground. And this is just like a 5v5 complete battle, even though MVP does have the Aegis and the cheese. Wait, the cheese actually was given to the Wisp, so they did do it as
he handed it over.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's Kuro also preparing to grab the gem. Like when the fight begins, just having that little slot open for when they kill Savage.
Yeah, Savage has been doing a very good job, though, of like keeping himself in a good position, like instantly like initiating and then reinitiating over and over, and even goes for Ghost Scepter to be able to burn those diffusal charges even more so from the Ursa. And now Velo does go for 2 points now in the Aftershock, or in the Earthshock.
MVP's backing out. Like they've returned to almost all the heroes back to their side of the river, apart from QO, who's looking to hunt the bottom. That's not much to hunt. That's just SD illusions that were pushing out the lane.
Yep, AUI slowly but surely getting more and more money. Gets a Diffusal Blade himself as well. The game of diffusals.
Not a very common item to have on the Luna. I was wondering if you'd actually go for that, or going for Skadi, having the extra slow from the Skadi, not to mention the extra stats to make SD more powerful. I also love to, like we were talking about this during the drafting phase, what SD should actually build into. And one of the cool things up against Bristleback with his Ags upgrade.
Yeah, completely disables the Bristleback once you get it. You have 3 charges as well, so it's crazy amount of potential from that. But yeah, the Diffusal Blade on the Luna, I think it's pretty cool, obviously, to kite out the Ursa in the engagements. Obviously, because he doesn't have like a BKB or anything, you can always just turn, you purge him like once or twice, and he's not able to get on you. Same thing kind of with the Bristleback. So it's a definitely interesting. Offensive relocate coming in.
He one-hitted down that courier. And you are going to relocate up, so the fight kind of splits into multiple parts. SD's going to have to disrupt a little bit further out. The Aegis Maul has already been triggered on the Ursa, so he was hoping for the kill. Russell will find that moment over on the SD. That was a long way north, so MVP wasn't really what they were searching for with that initiation. You burn Aegis the Immortal, you get a courier, and you get SD. That's the trade-off.
Yeah, and in the whole meanwhile, Envy was actually cutting the wave, so he's got his Forge Spirits all the way up there, and they have no wave to be able to push that top tier 2 tower.
More and more time being bought by NP. The graphs are still starting to lean back the way of MVP. Obviously, they've got a lot of map control.
Yeah, the map control is making it very hard for them to really, for NP to really farm anything. It's pretty much just AUI farming, and NV is just like Midasing, like just like running back, and then they're just constantly fighting. MVP's doing a good job of just kind of staying in their face in that manner.
So this is how you try and hold off the mid. Meteorite, Chakram, anything you've got that stops MVP from just beating through your towers. But MVP also, you notice the change of objective. Instead of just pushing in through the bottom, they're trying to clean out these last remaining outer towers of MP and choke them out inside their base. If they find an opportunity to go, then sure, go for it. But the Deafening Blast,
Oh,
IO,
nice Yule
Yule
Scepter.
Scepter saves him from the Sunstrike, and Eternal Envy getting leashed up by that BKB QO with the Purge doing its work. Kuro has to Shadow Dance himself away to safety. The Glaives don't make this any easier for MVP. A little bit too much damage when they group up as 3.
Yeah, they got the tower. They got what they wanted. It's almost like they recognize they're like, we've just died like 3 times at this bottom racks. Like, we should probably just go for the tier 2s and get little victories, especially when we had just lost our Aegis. We still have the cheese, but it looks like we're going to be going this game into a longer portion. They're trying to reduce the map control, obviously, from NP and just farm up multiple heroes while NP only farms like 1 or 2.
MP are kind of on a hunt. Thanks to the Observer Ward that's on the hill, both the Obs and Sentry are on that hill above the Ancients. So MVP know exactly what they're up against and backed out.
Yeah, NP actually has, what, they have no wards on the map right now, right? I think Rose now has 1 on him.
Careful, Forever. I know you got a lot of armor as he hasn't enough money for the AC.
Yeah, that's big. He needs these type of, like, the stat items, obviously from the S and Y. The BKB is pretty necessary versus the Amplify and all that. But yeah, AC is going to be the one to let them actually siege properly. Does Q have anything else coming out soon?
I mean,
Still just sitting on
3.1k. I'm interested to see his item choice. Like, if he decides to go for Lockdown.
Probably the Basher's the more obvious one. I don't think he'll go back for the Silver Edge now, obviously, since he decided to neglect it a bit and go for the BKB since he felt like he needed it. Rose now getting pressure down.
Goes for the solo kill. That Deafening Blast, remember, he has to come really quickly, create some space, but Purge, it goes on to QO. And the relocate, they find Envy. Envy will go invis, and who brought the detection? Absolutely nobody.
Dubu's got it. All the way in the backside.
Well, AUI starts his TP out. Will they get there in time? Nope. Velo blinks himself forward. Can't reach to Savage. Does Diffuser Blade charge up 1, but still on cooldown, so he can't catch anything else. And yeah, Eternal Envy battling against the Rubik. Telekinesis already used, and Envy's bailing. Just TP's out. He's fine with this. AUI still getting a lot of farm up on top lane.
Yeah, just constantly like noticing like, okay, we can't take this fight. I got to just move, put pressure as soon as possible.
It's pretty confident to move that early too, because he needs to. His TP's currently on cooldown.
Yeah.
If MVP looked to force the issue and push through the bottom, he wouldn't get back in time.
Yeah.
But they didn't. The top lane's already pushing out too hard. He gets more money, and life is better for the Luna.
He's been constantly doing this too. I love his use of the Dominator. He's just sending it into the waves and farming with it. He's not using it to stack really in this game because there's no real time for him to farm the stacks, obviously from the pressure that MVP's putting. So he's making sure to cause his own pressure and get a little bit of a bonus of farming with that Helmet Dominator creep, as you can see in the top lane. Now, yeah, MVP is just going back to like full-blown efficiency. Maybe we'll see instead of like the Basher on QO, it might just be the Scotty just to get the stats up, increase his armor a bit as well, so he doesn't get so.
He might
punished.
be worried about the butterfly though. Like
that's actually very true.
Maybe it's worthwhile building into an MKB.
Yeah, they do see the Talisman Evasion finished up on the Luna. Could definitely be an MKB.
Either that or you rely on Forever to take care of it. Like, it's like, okay, well, Quill Spray stacks, that's going to have to do the work. It's the same kind of question, right? Like, maybe Ursa is your lockdown, and your direct physical damage comes in from QO with the MKB.
Yeah, Velo's probably going to go for the BKB next. For the Basher next. He's got his BKB finished now. Let's see if we see them pick up any more items on the Courier. The Assault Courier should be finished up for Forev very shortly. He does have the gold for it.
They're still holding the cheese on the Courier. Like, the cheese the QO originally picked up is just sitting on the Courier for the moment.
QO's sitting on a lot of gold. I guess he's just he's just waiting to see what ends up happening in the next couple engagements, deciding if he needs health and stats or if he needs that direct damage to be able to bring down the Luna because of that butterfly that will be coming out. But here comes the illusions onto the tier 1. Is it going to bring it down?
With a catapult? Catapult, Cardi, they fortify. But the catapult's still doing his work. Curo's got to get the right timing for this, and he doesn't actually get it. And while he's not there, the top lane, MP is looking for initiation. Eternal Envy moving forward under the cover of Ghostwalk. I don't know if that creep wave actually got cold feet for a moment. And MVP are already bailing out. The ping's coming. Envy wants to keep going. I think he realized that Forev's on the other side of this tree line. Now they see it. Savage needs to get the Blink Crush. They Ice Wall first, then the follow-up Crush. MVP not here with big force. And
not
no
really
relocate
catch
force
either.
No.
Going right on the Bristleback is definitely a bit tough still at this point. Butterfly now finished up for Luna. So we'll see what QO decides to do. He's got
Velo.
5,500.
He jumps.
Velo.
Rose so quick on that disruption. He tries to purge up as well, taking IO out of play. And AUI needs to have more Glaze bouncing around. This is going to work with the SD disruption that's there. The crush from Savage doesn't do enough work, but MSS, he will. It's 2 for the price of 1 and maybe more. Berev wants to keep battling here with Dubu helping out.
QO on the backside.
The pushback, is there going to be enough work? QO looking for the picks in the back line. The crush will hold him in position. Not to mention the Ghost Scepter is making it difficult to attack straight out. And again, no detection available here for MVP. Timbersaw hiding on the hill. He has his TP available. But it's like he actually wants to wait for the kill. Eternal Envy hovering behind QO. QO is going to go invis. They need detection.
Buys his own gem on the Slark. What a team player.
He's had enough. He's had enough of Eternal Envy's shenanigans.
Yep. They do end up getting the Luna down. They get the Shadow Demon, but those illusions. Like the Eclipse, obviously they both pop BKB, and Febby threw himself in the air with the Euls, but when he landed, he ate a couple of the Lucent Beams, obviously, from that. But yeah, those illusions just destroyed the Ursa once his Enrage went off.
You can see the issue when you have 3 players from MVP. It's like, okay, now we can fight this. Then you've got 4 or 5 Lunas throwing those glaives out, and they love that. The more units, the better when a Luna's on the field.
Yep. QO still holding on to his gold, so he's still deciding which one he really wants to do.
MSS just got a Mystic Staff, so Shiva's Guard is on the way.
Yeah, I think he's got it. He should have it finished up, right? Yeah, he's got the plate mail. He's got it.
He'll have to sacrifice his buyback if he wants it, but up against three like melee cores, that's definitely what you want. And
he's
here
got
we go
20
again.
Bloodstone charges too, so he pretty much has instant respawn at in this stage of the game. So that'll be kind of nice. But yep, another Roche coming out.
Bristleback's holding the cheese this time around. The item slots are getting pretty full for MVP, so QO can take the Aegis if he wants it, and cheese they actually stack it on for Rev. So now he's got 2 in his inventory.
It's got a cooldown though. It's got a 40-second cooldown when you do use it. And okay, now he does go back for the Silver Edge. I guess just because he's slot starved at this point, so he's getting the Aegis. He just feels like he wants to get some more stats and be able to break the Luna, break the Timber, so obviously to reduce their damage and reduce their survivability.
This game being a lot closer than we really expected. Kind of seems like forever ago, we're around that 18-17 minute mark where MVP dove and gave MP a way back into it. The graphs have remained pretty still the way of MVP, just pulsing up and down. The experience kind of shows a bit more of a momentum towards MVP, but I wonder if that really even matters. Like, if you could defend with the Luna, you could do a lot of damage if AUI can survive the fight.
Yep. I think they definitely, MVP definitely recognized, though, that they were like, all right, not really like damage control, but they're like, okay, we can't keep throwing bodies into that Rax. It's just giving them way too much comeback potential.
But what do they get? Like they're taking all this time to build up new items. Looks like Forev's going to finish up a Monkey King bar pretty soon.
Forev's going for it.
Is this really? Is this enough? Like, have they actually given MP still too much space?
I think they still gave him a. I mean, it's still very close. It really depends on how the fights are initiated and taken, because there's no real hardcore initiator on the side of MVP. It's like this Ursa has to blink in and get the initiations, while MP has more of a natural one with Slardar being able to blink in and get the crushes off. So it's really depending on how the fight is taken in like a position, where the Luna is, where the SD is too. If the SD is alive in these fights, it's massive. If he's able to get a disruption on the Luna in the right position, those glaives are going to do such detrimental damage onto MVP.
But that means you have to jump a core onto an SD. Like the Rubik and the IO aren't going to be doing that job for you unless they relocate into the back lines.
Yep.
And that's more of a almost like chaos factor that comes in from the IO's positioning. And now you get the Ags on Rose.
This is such a huge item. Be able to disable the break the Bristleback's back. I hate saying that.
We just need to change it.
You know. But yeah, it's just a great item here versus like everything. Versus the Slark, it's not obviously breaking anything like specific, because obviously you can just remove it with Dark Pact. But getting that like short duration of the slow on him, getting the duration of slow on the Ursa through the BKB as well, it does add up. You have 3 charges. You can have multiple different situations where you put it on, and it's got a pretty quick restore charge. A long fight, you can get 4 purges off easily.
He could just chain it on the Bristleback, never ending.
That too.
Like, you control him up. The Slark and the Ursa haven't appeared to be too much of a problem for MP to deal with. And looks like MVP have been very, very cautious about initiation. They're very split up, however. Like, QO is trying to push in the bottom lane, give it a little bit of momentum. MP's always going to be a little bit more wary about that lane primarily because the tier 3 tower doesn't exist.
It seems like they're content with just farming for a bit until they get the Abyssal Blade, at least on the Ursa. So they have that instant lockdown, instant burst potential to try to get, like we mentioned, like getting on that back line of this, like the Shadow Demon. If he's able to just like Abyssal a Shadow Demon because of him being out of position, the fight's massive for them.
I love the item build coming out from
Dubu.
They're turning this into a split push kind of game.
Bots.
Yeah, BT's over on the Rubik. The range rack's being brought down. QO, there goes your Tornado. They need to follow up. Savage, not enough time to get that crush off. Forev still amplified up. So not the happiest place for him, but they can focus on something which the damage remains, and that's the range racks. Forev actually splitting this fight up. So MVP doing the two-pronged attack, attacking the mid, attacking the bot lane, but it's the bottom lane where QO actually getting cold snapped and glaived. They push forward with the Deathling Blast. Eternal Envy very far out, but doesn't get punished for it.
No real jump, on the side of MP. It's the Ursa that has to kind of get like a bash when he goes in to get any real lockdown.
QO's going again. He knows he's got the Aegis. He knows he's got the extra life. Savage gets the crush off, but then Ursa jumps forward. Earthshock is decent. The stun on the Timbersaw is also quite nice, but now the Invoker, the stun! Envy! He gets the Tornado off, but dies at the same time. Buyback's available. He's not using it just yet. The Bristleback's also triggered his BKB. Savage wants to go again. Blink, crush forward. The timing is perfect. The 4-star gets Forev just far enough away, and Febby will help him just an inch further with the relocate.
Oh, the Glaives actually take out QO.
Oh, this is troublesome. The buyback is out from Eternal Envy. The ice wall is very far away. That's almost like he's expecting MVP to jump back in and initiate to protect the IO. Where's that tether? There it is. Back up the hill. Do they want to go? Savage seems really apprehensive, but Dubu's going to drag him back in with the telekinesis, so with no choice. He's pulled back into the fight, and AUI, they have to disrupt. The Sunstrike's off target. Now there's more AUI, the Deathling Blast, Savage with a crush. Have they got enough damage with the Timber Chain forward? Maybe MSS can do it, but Dubu running circles around him. Finally, MP's going to get that kill. AUI brought back. MP, they have to win this fight hard now to make this worth it with a crush from Savage. He hit the Invis Slark. The Eclipse will pop off. There's no creep way for it. 4 heroes down for MVP. QO's on the run. The vision, where is it? Now they see him. It's daytime as well. Where's the amplification?
No gem,
they
though.
slow him down. QO's got both the gems, one for each eye. Had they got enough to actually catch him? There's no vision. They chain forward. They need sentries. They need something. They need a hope, which they just don't have. But that's 4 heroes down for MVP. NP will defend, and they still have their bottom racks intact.
You look at the gold graph and you're like, MVP's ahead by, a quite a large margin in the gold. But when you click on QO, you're like, wait, no, never mind, they're not. He has pretty much all of their gold. They all have their gold spread up along all the heroes. Now we're going to take a look at how this fight actually went down in this replay. Beautiful tether out from Febby.
You can see Savage. He's really, really uncertain about if he should go, and ended up just throwing his life away.
Nice play by Dubu there with the Stolen Crush, bringing him close in. And then AUI getting pressure down, getting MKB hit up. Nice disruption by Rose, but ends up dying anyway, and he forces a buyback from AUI. They end up running in with MSS, and it still ends up being pretty good for NP. They able with the buybacks, with the Eclipse and everything coming in this next situation right here. They end up getting 4 kills, but they don't recover their gems, and QO ends up running out scot-free.
Yeah, they got really lucky again. Savage, those crushes again. Like, he caught QO. QO mops up the back line. Sure, that happens, but
we also saw it put into factor there too. The Bristleback getting purged up too. You see how fast he dropped once that actually gets put on him. So everything coming into favor, everything kind of like coming into fruition a little bit now for NP. Just like these small little gains, definitely helping a bit. And now it looks like QO does have that Eye of Scotty finished up rather than going for that basher for himself.
Like, how does Forev even itemize to get around that whole? Like, do you just go for the health? Do you go for the heart to try and like say, hey, IO, when you purges me, relocate me out so I can start to heal up and come back to the fight? Like, how do you do it as a Bristleback? You can't just say Lotus Orb, because you're still going to have the effect on you. Bottom lane, QO runs in, Blink Crush is there. They find the opening. QO, they drop the Gem of True Sight.
He gets annihilated
Savage has
instantly.
it back. Oh, they amplified, and they try to relocate. Save all the Yules! Oh, not the Yules, the Tornado. It caught Dubu out.
That's
now
both gems.
MVP is going to lose both the gems and 3 heroes. Febby couldn't escape in time. He relocates back into him. Now Slark and Io have buyback. Dubu does not. But what's MP really going to get from this? Like, they can take a tier 2 tower, maybe chip the tier 3.
That's big, though. I don't think they saw the first gem get dropped, because they did actually leave it there, but they lost, MVP lost both the gems that they just recovered, and that was just when QO spent his gold. So he walked in and just died instantly right after buying a full Iascati, just getting grabbed up by SVG there.
And we should really keep our eyes on these buybacks at the moment. MVP, they got 3 out of the 5. You still have buyback on the Timber as well as the SD, but everyone else has it on cooldown. And here comes MP. They want to force buybacks of MVP if they can stop it.
This is where their big power is. The illusions are coming in to hit the base.
And look at MSS.
Tower's going to drop super quickly with them Alacrity too.
Oh, look at the glaives. There's so many of them bouncing through. Forev has to do something about this. Well, the second that tier 3 tower drops, the Rax goes with it, and no supports can stand the lines, and they've already left. They leave the illusions to do the work, which they do quite well.
Yeah, they forced the buyback from QO, and they just got out right away. So damage was done. NP.
They're still behind.
They're still behind, but
they're still behind.
That's a very big swing though. Recovering all 3 gems, finishing up Satanic now on the Luna. Okay, Envy actually goes for an AC. So felt like he needs armor. He's just getting bursted down too quickly by the Ursa, by the Slark, by the Bristle.
You could have also done something like Ghost Step to get around that. Like that's another cheap and easy way to do it.
He wants something that scales better though. I feel something that will be able to, at least when they get. If they're able to push out of their base and get a good fight, they're able to get an objective out of it and push into and make it actually be an objective taking. And now the Rosh is actually respawned and NP has eyes on it. And I don't think MVP does. Don't think they actually saw it.
MP are trying for it.
They kill it very fast. Once the Amplify comes back up, it's maxed. He's level 16, so it's going to get brought down super quickly.
There's nothing looking for them either. The vision is not there for the Dire side. It's coming in now as Kuro makes his way over. You'll see the courier leaving. Aegis Immortal is already claimed. Into the hands of AUI.
Envy.
He's found a target. QO. He's got the Gem of True Sight, so Envy can't just run away from this one. Remember, he just bought his Assault Cuirass. There's no buyback available, but the Blink Crush. Slark gets control, but support comes in through that relocate. Forev cops heavy amounts of damage from MSS very early on, but now AUI comes in with the power of the moon. She tries to fight back, but the Ursa Warrior, too big with the BKBs, even the extra bash, but Luna turns on the Satanic, gets all the life. Forev's burning down. Febby can't help out. In fact, by staying close, he does less work for him. He needs to wait it out. QO pounces away, but the Blink Crush. There goes Febby. And MVP on the run. QO will break free of that amplification. He doesn't have Silver Edge. 2 seconds, 1 second. He can't wait for the amplification. And now he gets back into the Invis, but the gem is still up. He can't break free. The Slark, this could be huge. Pounces over the hillside. He doesn't get away. He's down for 100 seconds. And this could be the game right now. The Luna is up.
There's no
They're
Ursa
ready to
buyback
push.
either.
This is the bottom Rax. There's only the Bristleback Core. He's the only one alive. He has buyback available, but this is the bottom Rax.
They're going to get two. They're just calling GG.
They actually go out. MP will actually take MVP out here in the GSL bracket and give a chance to fight again in the 3rd place matchup. MP survive. And look at the look of relief on their faces too. They managed to do it. It looked for a moment though that they weren't. Like they were 13,000 gold and about 15,000 experience behind at one point. But MVP, did they hand it to them on a silver platter?
I wouldn't say they handed it to them on a silver platter. I think they did have a bit of a timing that they wanted to hit. They did hit that time, but I think they dove a little bit too hard. Like going for those very far dives into the tier 4s into the fountain were just a little bit too far. And with the buybacks coming in, of course they killed Envy when he did buyback, but that whole situation that they did there, they definitely could have just slowed the pace down a bit and just gone for those tier 2s with the Aegises rather than just force it so heavily. It seemed like they were just we need to end this game immediately. Yeah. We need to just do what we can here. And it just seemed like they got a bit disconnected.
If they did team wipe them, it would have been over.
Yes.
There would have been no SD, Luna stuff to worry about. They would have just taken the GG call out from MP. Didn't happen. They didn't get the racks. Came back twice again. Failed twice again. And then this game just turned into a long duration thing. And well, you got a lot of players in MP that have a lot of experience with long, drawn-out games.
Yeah, I have to give, though, I really want to I have to give this MVP to SVG. I think he actually played so well in this game. As soon as he picked up his Blink Dagger, they picked up a gem as well, and the whole kind of tide felt like it shifted a bit. Sure, MVP still had that lead, of course, but you could still see what that actually did for NP, how much it mattered for him to get that Blink Dagger, how much it mattered for them to get that gem, caused a whole bit different swing.
They got so much space. Even that solo kill on the Slark was absolutely wonderful, but of course, we're not going to point about absolutely everything, or else the analysts will have nothing else to talk about. Machine.
Hello.
Hi.
You saw your 3rd game. Are you happy?
We got our 3rd game, and it was another turbulent one. We're not getting easy games, are we? People get leads and then squander them, it seems.
Well, that just makes Dota interesting, right?
It really does.
We don't want to have predictable results.
But, I mean, my question to you, while I do have you, MVP going to be coming bottom of this group, was that something that you saw coming, Fogged?
was a bit unsure just because of the quick changeup that they had. You know, 4F jumping in and Velo being switched to the carry when he's used to being playing on that offlane role. So I kind of expected them to have a bit of a struggle, but not in this type of manner. I thought that they showed some good form in this game, and then they kind of just threw back, you know, just a little bit too risky, just too big risky plays. And
well, I mean, we talked about risk and reward with Winter and the gang, and I'll go and continue that now. Thank you very much. You guys go take a break, and we will go ahead and do some heavy lifting for a moment. That was, of course, Toby and Fogged. So, Winter, I'm not going to call you Iceman anymore. Joining me, of course, Pyrion Flex and Purge. Let's start with the discussion regarding risk-reward and the risk that perhaps and debatably did throw that wave to MVP. You looked for a while that they had that.
You know, when you ask me when you should take risks, I think you take risks when you're behind.
Yes.
When you know if everything proceeds standard play, you lose the game. You don't take risks when you're already ahead.
And that was what they did.
Yeah.
That's so wise.
He is. He's just...
He is so wise.
He's full of little kind of nuggets of life
just
advice.
Brilliant. Love him.
The problem is that I feel like the risk that they took wasn't even that extreme. I mean, their heroes don't have a massive amount of control, especially if your Ursa doesn't skill his first skill. They're tanky. If you look at the damage metrics at the end of the game, NP had way higher damage. The biggest damage dealer was Frev at 18k. The highest damage dealer on NP was 37, and MSS did 27k, and Envy did 21k. They did way more damage, but MVP tanks it all. So when NP actually gets out of position, that's when it's time for Phoenix actually to go for kills and get those kills. So sometimes they do have to dive past racks. And maybe the one thing you can really criticize them for is they're really bad at hitting buildings. Like, very bad at killing barracks. Their heroes are tanky, they're great at killing heroes, but they're not amazing at buildings. And that was what really hurt them in that bot racks fight.
Well, they dove the tier 4. They could have just they killed one hero, and they kept chasing for other heroes. They could have just settled, okay, one kill is enough. We're just going to hit the buildings.
I think the temptation must be there where you think, we can kill them and then get the buildings, right? It's like, if we kill them, they won't fight us when we take the buildings. But yeah, sometimes you just got to be, especially when, like, I think that the issue is, like Kev said, they're not great at just hitting buildings. Whereas the power of MP's draft is they can fight, and they did fight, and they had some really good fights in the later stages of the game. And then with Luna, they can push so much easier, and they can push even if they don't fight, just with illusions, and they did that towards the end.
Yeah, but still, I think MVP just sort of gave it away. Like, they were in such a good position. They made like a series of like really bad calls. They tried to go for kills.
It's a great clip steal here, too. This was the first fight.
This is the one where they chased to the tier 4s. I think it was the slot.
There are two buildings right there.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Losing the Ursa was actually quite big there. Tier 4s hit deceptively hard.
Yeah. And he chased, this was the one. And he chased to the tier 4s. He tried to get a kill. He didn't get the kill, I think, and he died. Oh, he got the kill. Yeah, he got the kill. That was the first blink.
SVG did so well.
First blink.
Yeah. I think that the Slardar reinitiate, especially on these kind of melee heroes who want to be
He just got the blink there.
He got so many good crushes. It changes the whole fight around.
Now, one of the things you guys outlined beforehand was the Bristleback. You liked this idea of Bristleback. You liked them picking up Ursa. Up until the series of bad errors, did this draft work very well for MVP?
He was
did
the
you like
richest Bristleback.
Yeah.
Like, he was the richest. He was the highest net worth in the game for a ton of time. And like Kev said, he's a really good carry. You know, he can farm Ancients really early on, and he is strong.
Yep.
But I mean, I think that the issue is that they
he
just couldn't.
He sort of expired, though, I think.
Yeah,
like,
it's
the
like
Luna became stronger than him.
Especially once they got the Ags on Shadow Demon. I think the Shadow Demon played really well as well, actually. It just kind of, apart from when he disrupted someone just as they were about to crush him, but it happens. I feel like MVP early on focused on tilting Envy as much as possible, and they killed him a bunch of times, and they were like, we'll tilt Envy, and then we'll win the game.
I'm
so that's the strat. If Tad's the coach of a team, you're up against NP.
Tilt Jackie.
Let's tilt Jackie.
Yeah, but it didn't work in the end. Aoi did great to come back into it with all the farm and the items he got. I think he did really well.
Considering his hero versus Ursa, Bristleback, Slark, he played amazing. Heroes that can gap close and are tanky.
Yeah, it's like
that's a hard game for Luna. Yeah. And the fact that he consistently did a ton of damage, that he would always min-max his hero, well, he knew when to attack and when not to. If he would have been a little bit less inconsistent or more inconsistent on that, it actually would have just lost MP the whole game.
I think having the Shadow Demon there to save him if he doesn't get a chance to save himself, and also the Slardar for that reinitiate coming in. You got 2 or 3 melee heroes around you. He comes in with a big crush that completely changes it, lets Luna back out. It was a good combination in the end from MP.
I mean, this was... MVP Phoenix, we had some predictions on the desk expecting to see big stuff from them, and I do think that our takeaway here is that this is the team that's now going to be sitting in the worst seed of their group. But I do think we're taking some positives away from this as well. I know I don't want to always be doing silver linings, but went full 3 maps against NP, and we liked their draft. I mean, I'm trying my best here.
Maps.
Maps.
Did I say maps again?
I was gonna.
I did. I literally. You told me, and I said I wouldn't.
I didn't tell you critically. I just pointed out.
If
Yes.
you said map singular, I would be all right. I'd let that go. But you can't say maps. There's one map, man.
It is a singular
only
map.
map.
It is. It's just
It's
literally
just
burnt
funny.
into my
it's just
brain.
funny. Yeah, I know. It's like it's obvious that it's literally like it's just a part of your brain
it's
now.
Every
Yeah.
game is called and it's not even just Okay.
All right. What
here we go.
I'm thinking
Games.
about is again, MVP always wins first round at the event every time.
Always.
And they're going to be against a 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Who are they going to kill? Someone's dead already. They might as well not even get 1 seed. Everybody should avoid it now.
Single elimination.
You don't want to get knocked out.
Yeah.
MVP are just known for doing that.
They do it. They did it the last 2. They knocked out OG, the tournament favorites.
So this
And then
doesn't
they
really
lost.
phase them. They're
I
not
don't know.
phased.
I'm not convinced this time with a different roster. They don't look like the same team anymore. Like even with 4 same players from the last roster, like something is different about the team. Doesn't give me the same feeling.
You don't get what with that magical little kind of
Yeah.
butterflies in your stomach.
Yeah, I just don't get that with this team.
Not as charmed by the new MVP.
I think because of the fact that they made their off-lane player move to carry.
Sure.
You have someone making a role swap. It's always a lot of work to get your player, comfortable with his new role. It's not easy to be comfortable in. Like he changed to this role for like not even a month, say 2-3 weeks.
Sure.
I mean, I would agree. He's definitely been playing well, but I haven't seen him just explode the game when they have an advantage. He's just doing well, but he should be occasionally
He's
just
not a
owning.
game, not a game changer. Like he's just there doing his job.
Yes.
Someone that was a game changer is actually standing by with Slacks. MSS, we were singing his praises after
Yeah.
the first, ready for this? Game.
Yeah.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah, so Slacks and MSS are hanging out. Let's go jump in with them. How's it going over there?
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, hello there, desk. We're having a good time. You guys all right over there?
Yeah, we're chilling.
Yeah.
We're going to go get some hydration. Why don't you talk to MSS?
Oh, no. I want to talk. No. I'm
Get
just
on with
kidding.
it.
All right,
Go
all
on.
right, fine. MSS, hello. We're here. Mojo Storm Stout, one of the best offlaners in the world. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Fantastic, my friend. So, you are very unique, man. I do love talking to you, having these interviews, because you have a mind of your own. You have a special way of explaining things. So, in your own words, I want you to talk to me about that amazing last series. Describe it.
I mean, first game was pretty easy game. I think we had the better draft. Venom Warlock is kind of a bullshit combo. We managed to get a last pick Venom. Felt good. Second game, it was we kind of did the same thing, and they expected it, so they're ready to counter it, and they won that game. Then third game was a shit show.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on, but we last picked this Invoker. Dies like 5 times in laning phase. Things are looking rough.
Yeah.
But little do they know, that's our comfort zone.
Right.
Yeah.
Rough is where you guys excel.
Yeah. It was just another day in the office, honestly.
Indeed, indeed. Now, I want to talk to you about offlane. Normally in a game, in a team, they'll send the offlaner out, and then they'll meet up with their offlaner. They'll support them after a while. Your team seems to send you out and then avoid you. You have to come back into the fold. Is that a team dynamic? Is that on purpose? How does that make you feel?
No, they used to play like that, but it just has to do with the heroes we're picking, like these Lunas and these Rose. You need a secure their farm, so I'm just taking one for the team.
Yeah.
That's the role of the offlaner.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Now, I want to ask you a question about passion. You've been in this game for a very long time, and I know, you love Dota. I hear that you're starting to love other games, like you're a big Pokemon Moon fan, so you've been playing that a lot. Do you still have the same passion for Dota as you do for other games, like Pokemon Moon and stuff like that?
My passion for Dota is like way higher than any other game I'll play.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Not according to your teammates, but...
My teammates are a bunch of goons, honestly.
Okay. Quap! Why? It doesn't seem to work out ever, but you guys pick it a lot. Can you explain the thought process there from your drafter and all that?
I actually can't explain. I don't know why the fuck we picked that hero. I actually have zero idea.
Okay, well, that's okay. At least we're getting to the bottom of it soon. All right, let's just get it out of the bag. Game 3 was so hype. You guys did an amazing job. All of that stuff going on. What was going through your mind when your carries keep dying and it's up to Timbersaw? It's only Timbersaw. Hold the game. You're used to that, right? You said it was rough, but is it okay, though?
I'm sure it looked okay. I probably felt bad inside because my carries are dying, and I'm just a Timbersaw. But I'm sure it was all according to plan.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, final thing, you guys are up against Newbie next. When you guys lose, what are you going to do to make sure that you feel better, recover from that loss coming up here?
I mean, I'm sure we'll be fine. And hope we don't get paired against Wings first round. That's what we're hoping for,
Right. So, I mean, that's a good hope. No, you guys would do fantastic. I can't wait to watch this match. It's going to be hype. Are you guys going to win it? Give me some power, man.
Yeah, dude. Woo.
Woo! All right. Well, take that electric energy back to the panel, guys. Over back to Machine.
Wow, that is some overwhelming hype. My heart is actually beating just from the enthusiasm displayed there. MSS there hanging out with Slacks. And they did pick up the win across all 3 games in full series. That's right. I'm just going to keep saying it. I'm going to get it written into my brain. It's a process. As was that second team fight. Wow, Purge, we've been enjoying you breaking things down. You haven't got your fancy screen, but you can still show us what's going down in some of these games.
You'll get it, buddy.
It was a pretty good fight. This was after their crucial win on the bot lane, but what I want you to look for is Slardar repeatedly initiating here, grabbing 2 cores on his first initiation, and often after he engages, he sprints back out of the fight. That way he can wait for about 8 seconds and reinitiate. And this is really crucial because it's if you compare it to a hero like Tidehunter, the amount of value and stun duration that you're getting out of it just really adds up. Like in this moment, AUI looking completely dead, perfectly still. He does end up ticking down with things like Earn, but every time that AUI is that in trouble, a stun changes everything. So a little bit of lag there as well. Ooh. But, it just made a huge impact multiple times.
It's that double save potential they've got, the Shadow Demon and SVG. And SVG, like Kev said, kept landing these 2-mans. And I love the way he dips in and out, just in and out like that. It's so good. It means he's always available to surprise you with this 2-man crush. It's huge.
He had the impact of an offlane hero from a 4 position, which is just incredible.
And that leads so beautifully into our nominated most valuable player. Of course, that Slardar was someone who stood out to all of us. SVG, I believe, was nominated to be our MVP. We can have a look at the scoreboard first. I think that's probably wise. We'll take a look at that just to see how the numbers did look. But already, can you just summarize it again? You're telling me he had the impact
of a 3. Look, I mean, his KD was 6-3 and 18. That's even though he got a delayed blink when they were completely losing the game. His hero damage is obviously not that big, but reapplying things like amp damage or landing 2-man stuns. I'm curious how many fantasy points he got alone just from stuns, because that was another one of the metrics. Like, he just kept going in and out. And Slardar, especially the best reason for him to be a 4 is he doesn't really need much past like Blink Force and Ghost Scepter. He's set. That he does his job.
His GPM, by the way, is the lowest on his team.
Doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That hero.
He did a lot without a lot. I thought it was very clever.
Yeah,
and there he is.
And another cool thing about Slardar that game just actually really counters Ursa, because once Ursa doesn't have his ulti, he never really buys an armor item. He's always sitting in like a mid-tier armor. Putting like -10 to -20 on top of that means Ursa dies instantly. And that actually happened in a lot of fights where he'd die in like 5 hits when he got stunned.
Now, one of the kind of factors we were concerned about with NP was Envy having a bad series and that leaking into perhaps not attitude problems, but tilt. Getting that dark shroud upon himself and it affecting his team. Did we see elements of that? Do you think that at the start of it, despite picking up the win, was there criticism to be raised?
Do you know what I think the difference is? I think the people he's got around him.
Yeah.
And if you're having a bad game, and your team are getting on your back about it, and you're getting, on your own back, and you're getting angry with yourself, that's even worse. But he's got this team around him now that I think is very supportive. I mean, you saw MSS. He's like, oh, we love it when it's like that. That kind of attitude. Yeah. They're good-natured guys. I think that helps Envy a lot. And he did have a bad time. We did have a bad start, and we were like, they just want to tell Envy, But the fact that he could come out of it, I think a lot of that has to go down to his teammates supporting him as well.
And we'll get to see it again.
Never give up, Dad.
Okay, thanks, bro.
and it can't be like Quap. It has to be a hero that has the ability to impact team fights, whereas Quap is just damage.
I got my answer.
Yeah. You did. Yeah. Well, your answer was not ideal, really, was it, Winter?
It was affirming. Winter's right. Yeah. We have no idea what we're picking this hero.
If Winter doesn't know, but neither do NP, that's an answer in itself. Yeah. Talking of answers, we have a question from the community again. We can perhaps provide an answer. We'll have a little look what's coming up from you guys. We've got some interesting ones. I saw a Photoshop of you as James Bond.
Yeah, it was good. Ted. Good quality. That was Neil. Neil did that.
Good old Neil.
Yeah.
Dota Cinnamon. Check it out.
Why didn't MVP Cores get BKBs earlier against Invoker, Luna, and Slardar Crush?
I wouldn't call it a counter against Slardar Crush at all. It's an 8-second cooldown spell.
But Invoker, it's legit against Invoker and Luna.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it stops Eclipse, kind of, but
Do you not think the fact is
Bristleback-
that they didn't need him because they were whipping him? Like
Yeah,
they were whipping
winning
him
a-
early.
yeah,
so
they
they
were
were like, we
winning a
don't need
lot.
to rush a BKB.
And the other reason why you don't want a BKB is because you have IO on your team. So if you have BKB, he can't tether and relocate
Right.
you out.
So-
Okay.
and it's like a I'm going to be really strong for 10 seconds and then win the team fight and take a rack. This whereas MVP's like I'm going to fight for 45 seconds.
And you know what Jackie Mount said before? Like I always remember what he said
What did he
about
say?
BKBs. If you get a BKB too early, it's game losing. You should get it at the right time.
Yeah.
Not
Because
too
if
early.
you get it early, you've used up
So
like the
much
10-second
time, yeah.
charge so early. If you wait till the late stages and then you pull out a 10-second BKB, that has a much bigger impact.
I wouldn't say waiting to the late stage, but you have to wait for
Later than early, right? Yeah.
for
Later
a right,
than
a
early.
right timing.
Right
Sometimes
time.
the right timing.
How do
right
you know when the right time is?
feeling? Like the carry feeling, you know.
Feel it in his fingers, feel it in his toes. BKBs all around me. No, just awful. Anyway, this has been great. We have got one more series to enjoy. It's going to be a battle to see if it's going to be Newbie or NP. NB versus NP. Lots of those coming up. And it's going to be a big series to end the day. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.